Welcome to a Gmod tutorial on how to make a ACF car. The most basic way and quickest way I know on making an ACF car. So, uh, let me go ahead and get everything that you're going to actually need to make this possible. Now, I went for like a type of um RC kinda like car, so if that's also what you're going for, feel free. But that's what I went for. Get an appropriate size plate. I guess this works here. However, what your main base is, the reason why you need two motors is because I, for some odd reason, can't figure out how to set up reverse without another motor. So this is what I'm gonna do. If you know a way, do it that way. But this is what I'm doing for this tutorial, I guess. Now I actually didn't get everything that you're going to need out of here. I didn't get the fuel, which I'm pretty sure is 100% necessary. So now I recommend getting a good sized one, but one that isn't going to change the weight too bad. Mainly because well, weight is a big thing with ACF. It's all about realism, I guess. So, get your best thing. Make sure you weld all items on the platform. That's going to be on the platform, that is. Now you're going to get your access tool, get a type of wheel. I probably would go with this wheel, just because of how it looks. You can put it basically anywhere on the actual platform. Just make sure that it's on the same spot on all four spots. So like me, I'm putting it right there in the middle of the second cube from the edge. That's just fine. You can do that and be okay. Now, basically, save often, and now you have your car. However, you want to go back to the ACF menu. Do that. So you want to link them and do the same for the back one. Save that. Now you want to get a pod controller, a constant value with 100, and that's basically what you need there. You need to go to gates, arithmetic. You need to find multiply, not multiple, but multiply. So now you want to take your wire tool and you want to put A as 100 and B as the throttle button that you want to make it go forward. Now I actually didn't get the vehicle or like the seat that you need, so you want to pair these. Then you want to go to wire active on all respective things. Put it on active. Throttle needs to go to multiple. However, I actually didn't do something correctly. You need to get two sets of these. You don't need to get another pod controller. You only need to get another constant value and another multiple. Okay. So, A goes here and B goes to S for reverse. Now, this throttle is going to be, depending on which face it's looking, like, based off, like, if you put a gun on it, you can just, like, base it off that. But we're going to say this direction here, pointing towards a blue building, is forward. So you're gonna put the forward one on any of the multiple ones, and then you want to put the other one on the other one. Once you do that, make sure you do save very often. I don't know how many times I'm gonna have to say that, but make sure. What you want to do is you want to get in and see if you can hear any changes. I hear whirring. Forward and backward did not work. Okay. This is forward and this is backwards. So you can just do that actually, I think. No. I've already forgotten what to do at this point. Okay. That there. A goes there. B goes S. Yeah, okay. This happens every now and again where you have to get a different chair, or else it won't work. It happens every now and again. Make sure you actually do everything correctly, because apparently sometimes it doesn't like to bind everything. Okay. Okay, what the fuck? Okay, active on that. Okay. Active, active, active. Okay, throttle on that. Okay, well now it's back wheel drive. It doesn't matter what type of drive it is, as long as both of the engines are working. So then you put that there. You can get in. Make sure it's indeed unfrozen. It's back wheel drive, but yeah. Okay, there we go. So as you can see, it's now going backwards. If I drop it, forward, backwards. Okay. It may be a little heavy, that you can change. So like the default for the batteries is 44. I think you can actually change it to 25 and get away with it. I'm not too sure, but you can try. Yeah, you can get away with 25, and that heavily changes the actual weight that it runs at. So like this, you can probably put that down to 50 and get away with it. This is already at 50. I mean, that you don't necessarily need to change, but as long as it doesn't say illegal or anything, you'll be fine. Okay, yeah. These. Yeah. These have to stay their norm, or else it won't work, and it will be illegal. AKA, it's not gonna be under its minimum mass, which means it will no longer work. Now, hopefully, I didn't completely break it doing that. It's starting to look like I did completely break it. Okay. See if I just do. Well, you're fine. Okay, going backwards fixed itself. Okay, they're fixed. But what you do generally want to do is make everything as light as you possibly can. And by doing that, you can basically by doing that, you can basically like make it as light as humanly possible without suffering any issues. So I think actually if you put it at just 100, you can get away with 100 maybe, I'm not sure. Are you actually able to get away with 100? Okay, no, it has to be 150, or else it won't work. I mean, you can keep it at its default mass, but fuel tanks, I've learned, matter. I think they matter. May not. Okay. Okay, yeah, fuel tanks have to be their normal. Okay. Fuel tanks are not to be modified. But as long as it has... Oh. Okay, not bad. Oh, it's because of the fuel tanks. If you do go above the mast, you are gonna have to, or below, I guess in this case, you are gonna have to wait for at least one of them to at least come back. And in this case, I think you can actually just remove one of these and increase the weight a little. It's mostly the engines causing the most weight. But other than that, you can probably actually just set this to be really light or something, and have it have a mental breakdown. Good to know. Let's see if we can set it to 25 and see if it gets any better, which I don't think it will by any means. I think that means it's just gonna get heavier, obviously. But, okay. Once you have your actual car, mine's a little heavy, I'm gonna have to tweak it. Actually, I can just do that and get my actual car that does work. ACF Car. Now on here, there's two things you aren't going to need on here. The gun, the camera, and the gyroscope. You're not going to need any of that or the ammo required. But if you want to have actual turning, you need to go to wire and you need to set left clutch to A on, or like your buttons. So like if this is the front, left clutch will turn it left and so forth. So like if I hold W and then press A, it turns left because of clutch. If I do it with D, it works just the same. Backwards, it doesn't work nearly as good because I didn't wire backwards to have the same effect. So, okay. What? Let's make it a noise. Okay. And now, and you got normal, but when it's going backwards, it can now turn and it acts like a normal car. And if you opt in to put the camera on there, and you set that up, which is that's the gun. But if you set up the R camera and screen, you can set that up and have an actual camera. Weight really does matter because, as you can see, because there's a little bit more weight on the left or on the right side of the car, it turns a little to the right when it shouldn't be. But other than that, that's the general baseline of how I made my little RC car. Now, this was a pretty quick tutorial on how to build a little car like this. I could probably remove some unnecessary weight from here by, I think, shifting this over a little. I would have to freeze it, of course, but But there's gonna be some major tweaking that you're gonna have to be doing to get this to work how you want it to. Like, see, I think it may have just fixed the weight issue. Yeah, see, the weight issue is no longer nearly as bad on certain occasions. But other than that, you can add turbo if you want, and to basically do that is you would probably put a bigger motor on, set up the gear, because you can put multiple gears on the same. You can put multiple gears on the same tires, and so basically what you can do there is put a new gear or like a new clutch is what I'm using. It doesn't matter what type of clutch as long as it fits and actually puts down correctly. I'm using the 4-speed. I can probably change it to an 8-speed and be okay actually. Like 8-speed. Okay, 8-speed has a bunch more gears, but like if you go to here and you do gear up, and then on here, mouse, like, next weapon. Actually, no. I wanna do previous weapon and then that. The higher the gear, the more it will output. If I actually did that correctly. You can hear it. So I mean that's like, there's that, but the engine itself has a limitation. So if you are automatically bypassing that limitation, you're not gonna get much more speed. So I recommend starting it at half speed. So gear 1 is half of the engine velocity, I guess, or like the half of the engine RPM. And when you put it in the next gear, it does that, or yada yada. But the final drive is the general max, I think you can put it as. So you want to put that as like the max that you can. So like these are both final drive 1 or -1. And so it's literally putting out the highest that it can. Now I don't think you can increase it by much more. I don't know if that's actually going to work or not. We'll see. Yeah, it's faster. Oh, and you can also use it for reverse. It's generally based off if the engine itself can take it or output it, I guess. But that's basically how you add, I guess, like turbo to it, I guess. I was actually correct in the first part. You're supposed to put them on their relative thing. So previous is for next. But other than that, you get your little RC car that you can use. There's your tutorial. Everyone, stay safe. Don't have a mental breakdown over not being able to do certain things. You'll figure it out in the end.